Flames on wheels, cause it's a great day to be waving. Hey, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought Flame was finished? Never. You know what I'm saying? We just getting started. Back with another Flames on Wheels. You dig? Look, it's Sunday. I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Pre-workout's just kicking in. Y'all know how it go. Hey, today's topic is like one of my favorites because this is something that in the last year I've really been practicing, right? When you understand you versus time, you versus sacrifice, you versus all these different things, right? One of the biggest things that takes into consideration of your time is distractions, right? So today's video is how you can lower distractions, focus on your goals, you understand, and really figure out how can you capitalize on, your life as an artist or a business person or, filmmaker. We could go on and on and on to the list. I would say in today's world, right, there are so many distractions, like just from just life. Like life is just like, it should be crazy. But the thing about like distractions is like, you have to understand it's almost like obstacles that God's putting in your path in order to figure out, like, listen, this is a challenge. I'm giving you this challenge, this opportunity. How are you going to overcome, this distraction? And, when it comes to like time, there's no time for distractions. Like, I know that sounds impossible, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, there's distractions everywhere. Like, first of all, like, just being an artist, you know what I'm saying? Just being in the public, just having like a large social media presence. Like, I get on social media, like, I have to like follow a certain amount of people. Like, I have to like do a certain amount of things because with my OCD, I can get on my phone and just be distracted on social media for hours and hours. I'm just keeping it a buck, hours and hours and hours. And it's like, that's not good. Like, that's time when I could be taking, you know what I'm saying, time that I could be taken away from getting on social media to getting recording a song and, you know what I'm saying, mixing and mastering and putting out. You guys know the whole process. But the world fills us with distractions, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, even like you go to the gym, you get a great workout in, right? As soon as you leave, right across the street, there's a donut place, right? Right next to that, there's a you know what I'm saying, a good breakfast spot. Like all the like fast food options, right? Those are distractions. They're distractions. They're quick access to be unhealthy. A lot of my friends joke with me about like, oh, you eat a lot of like Taco Bell, you eat a lot of fast food. And I'm like, yeah, I work out a lot. And they're like, yeah, well, it doesn't really matter. And I mean, they're technically right, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's convenient, it's fast. But if there wasn't any necessarily options within a 20-minute radius, then you would change your lifestyle. You would leave the gym and you wouldn't be able to go to all these different options, right? These are all distractions, right? And I could just go on and on and on and on and on. The world as a whole is essentially a big marketing. It's just all marketing. Everything in life is marketing. I've always said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're always like me. I'm a brand, I market. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's everything you do, you're marketing. who you have around you, what your family represents. It all comes back to you, which ultimately becomes what sells, which ultimately means that you are being marketed. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times, you know, like you can be seen and immediately like put the music to the side a little bit, put coaching to the side a little bit. The first thing people see is your presence, and they see who's around you. They see how you carry yourself. That's the first thing people see. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not even about like people's opinion, but it's just more about like who's going to invest in you. You understand what I'm saying? Like Flames on Wheels, like I know I have an audience. Like people have already reached out to me. I've told you guys this. People have already reached out to me and just said how much like Flames on Wheels allows them to relate. You know what I'm saying? Just because like I give it to y'all like real and authentic. A lot of artists be hiding, like they just hide. You know what I'm saying? They hide behind the distractions, but they don't really know their distractions. You know what I'm saying? This comes all the way across the board. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're, you know, we could even with relationships, whether you're single, whether you're married, like there's distractions that always are gonna come about. You know, and then you always have to figure out, you know, your you versus time. You have to figure out like how much of these distractions is going to lower your ability to increase your time and increase what you're trying to do, you know. And it's, you know, sometimes like we need a little bit of distractions just to ultimately come back to our goal. But the problem is when those distractions become ours, and when those distractions take away from sleep, and when those distractions, you know, take you out the gym, or they take you mentally, they take you into another place. Like these are the type of distractions that, you know, that will hold you back and help and hold people back. There's major artists right now that have just that you know have so many distractions in their life, and that's why, like I said, imagine if they, you know what I'm saying, focused a little bit more on the actual craft of music or sports or whatever field you're in. You know what I'm saying? And just gave it your all and just put some of the distractions down and just put everything into your time. Like how much further would you be? You know? And again, the hardest thing is just the reality of, you know, our world is the fact that like the world is surrounded to pretty much like have distractions around you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why so many people have anxiety, OCD, depression, because, and again, I'm not gonna get into, but like there's like a huge, you can feel the shift a little bit amongst generations of the ability of communication. Like as it seems to me, and this could be, you know, it seems to me that as a result of like social media and, you know, different types of time disruptors, right? A lot of the generation before me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get into ages, but they're a little more isolated. You know what I'm saying? COVID's had a huge part of that. You know what I'm saying? But I think mainly it's just the amount of distractions, and people just, distractions are just so, and as the world continues to evolve, there's just more and more and more and more and more distractions because of marketing. There's so many different businesses. There's so many people competing for your time, your, you know, what you do on a daily activity is just, it's always competing for your time, which leads ultimately to what do you sacrifice for? You know what I'm saying? You know, you may not necessarily need a new iPhone, but Apple comes out with the newest and greatest iPhone, right? Okay, now all of a sudden you need an iPhone. So now you're on your phone researching, oh, what's up with this phone? What's up with this phone? What's up with this phone? Say you're a basketball player, right? So you're sitting there researching the iPhone. Oh man, I got to get this iPhone. I got to get this iPhone. I'm going to get this iPhone. This is what I want. This is what I want. Now you got a game in like 45 minutes, right? But instead of focusing on the game, you're focusing on like the iPhone. So you're still looking, you're like, okay, like this is what I want. This is what I want. And then all the whole time you're playing the game, all you're doing is thinking about this iPhone. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've all been there. Like, this is just one example of just how much, like, and this isn't something that we can escape. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to enlighten you guys to understand that you can slow the day down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the way that you slow the day down is you understand, like, when you see certain parts of life as distractions, you start understanding how you can navigate around and take back your time. You know what I'm saying? Take back your time to create good product or good service to put back into the world. You know what I'm saying? But that's the one thing that I think about all the time as a music artist. How can I get, with all the competition, you know what I'm saying? How can I get my music to just be willing to be heard by even 1% of the population when there's so much competition? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, all it comes down to is me competing for their time. You know what I'm saying? Why should they play me over Lil Durk? Why should they play me over, Lil Baby? Why should they pay me over, Kid Leroy or Polo G, or, I'm just naming a few artists that come off the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? Drake. Like, why would they play me when they got all these different artists that they can pick from? You know what I'm saying? And when you get that mindset, it makes you focus on the songs a little bit more in terms of the detail. You start studying other artists, and you're like, okay, I can see why this artist is successful here and this artist is successful here. And then you just add it to your arsenal. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it comes down to time. And when you understand that, again, we talked about a couple videos ago, like, with, the amount of output that you can put out if you just focus, you know what I'm saying? And you just put down, all the distractions, and you just stay locked in, you know what I'm saying? How much more productive you could be, and the key is just, like, we got to start taking control of our life instead of letting life take control of you. You know what I'm saying? And that's, like, for me, I'm usually towards the midpoint. I might be a little bit more towards, like, taking control of life as I start understanding things a lot more. But in the past, before, like, probably the age of 30, I would say, like, life took control of me. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of was all over the place. And even when I looked like I had my stuff together, still mentally, I was just all, you know what I'm saying, just all over the place, just filled with distractions. And, and sometimes we need good distractions because it allows us, like I said, to come back and focus on, just being normal, and just kind of come back to focusing on what our ultimate goals are. Like I said, sometimes I go out just to be around the environment of what a music artist would be around. You know what I'm saying? Just literally just to be around the environment. You know what I'm saying? Just like, professional athletes, or for, let's just say, a college baseball player. They go to a World Series. They want to go to the World Series because that's what they dream to be. That's what they aspire to be in front of. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, understanding that, like, your ultimate goal, is just a result of sacrificing time, but like, lowering distractions as much as possible. Here's the other thing about distractions. They come with all different types of time, right? So, like, your old friends could be distractions. Your new friends could be distractions. Old memories of you could be distractions. New memories of you can be distractions. Everything can honestly be a distraction if you allow too much time to attend to it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really just a maturity, and this is why I'm giving it to you guys, because I know one thing about my channel, right? yes, I'm a music artist, right? A lot of you guys know me from music. A lot of you follow me from music. But I'm also a basketball coach. I'm also a mentor. You know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of like, I've sat with a lot of different college level athletes all the way up to right now current semi-pros, a couple guys that could play potentially in the NBA, like just like, but again, it's not about like those, it's about more of like just understanding like how distractions and how they eliminate distractions and how they are able to really like, you know, take that next step to be at this elite level. You know what I'm saying? And you, like I said, just coaching all these different, you know, different types of mindsets, and you kind of just start to understand like patterns. You know what I'm saying? And with the patterns, a lot of the best, they're obsessed with what they're trying to do, and they don't have too many distractions, you know, that you can noticeably see. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has them, but they just work harder and harder and harder at their goal every day, and they sacrifice their time to ultimately become elite. You know what I'm saying? And you know, but just talking with them, it's just crazy the different types of mindset that you have to want to be, you know what I'm saying, at the top of the top. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to music, y'all know how I get. Like when it comes to music, like I really feel like I can be on stage with any artist in the entire world and not even blink an eye. Number one, I have this weird thing where when I get on stage, I don't see anybody. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm walking around, if I start walking around on stage, I can start like seeing people and stuff. But when you're on stage and an artist, this is where you know if an artist is an artist or an artist is just a, you know what I'm saying, just a record on a microphone type of person. But like, y'all know what I'm saying when I say that. But like when you start doing like real shows, you know what I'm saying? Like you start doing shows in front of 300 to 700, 800, 900 people, you start understanding like when you do these shows, your focus is solely on like the lyrics and solely focused on like just stage present. There's a million things that you have to focus on, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even see like half the time I don't even see who's in the crowd, what's in the crowd. Like I just, it's just like, it's like a zone. It's like a euphoric zone that you just go in. And you know, it's crazy because like that zone, that like focus, that's the same focus I have when I'm in the studio doing music. It's just like, it's like it's like I've already dreamed where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm just watching the dream start coming true. You know what I'm saying? And when you see that is happening, that's when all the distractions come. That's when all the distractions come. As you keep going up, there's more and more distractions, more and more distractions. And you have to understand that that's exactly what they are. And you have to understand, you know what I'm saying, what is your reaction to these distractions? How are you going to minimize these distractions to maximize your opportunities? It could be family trying to get your time. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that is pulling you away from your focus on your goal. You know what I'm saying? Because like for me, you know, as we continue to get older, as I continue to get, you know what I'm saying, older and maturing and stuff like that, it like my time is like a lot less. You know what I'm saying? But that isn't a crutch because I'm talented to know like what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Because like luckily I still look like I'm 24, 25 years old. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even know how old I am, but I look like I'm 20, 24, 25. I get it all the time. So like just being able to like take care of your body and take care of like your mental, but a lot of that comes down to just eliminating distractions. You know what I'm saying? And here's the other thing. if you decide to do an activity that you know could be taking away from your goal, don't beat yourself up about it. You know what I'm saying? Be accepting of the fact that you're normal. You want to just, it's okay if you go XYZ, or it's okay if you do XYZ. Just don't make it a huge habit. Don't make it a lot of time. Don't make it sacrifice something that can take you away from something that you ultimately are trying to do. Because these habits really, you know, can add up quick to the point where you feel like you're like a hamster on a you know what I'm saying, on a wheel, and you just can't stop. You can't stop running. You can't stop, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's like, well, I'm just running on this hamster wheel, but I'm not going anywhere. And in fact, sometimes the productivity goes down. And you're like, well, I recorded 8 songs last week, and this week I only recorded 2. Why is that? Why was there that 6-song separation? Well, what did I do different in this week that I didn't do last week? Oh, I went here and then I did this. I didn't sleep as much as I did last week. Like, always like analyzing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like your life and your like, you have to always like understand. The problem with a lot of people is, I'm gonna just give it straight to y'all. People don't understand this simple topic. They don't understand you versus distractions. They don't. Because if they did, their lives would be different. You understand? Their lives would be a lot different. The decisions that they made at younger ages would be a lot different. Because you allow distractions, and you allow life, we'll just call it life, to take you away from what you ultimately want to do. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like I said, as I keep going and I get more and more successful, it's like I'm just, it's like somebody's just throwing like darts. They're throwing they're just throwing like different ways. Like, it's just coming at me, and it'll come out of left field, or like, and I'll be like, what? Like why are you like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it comes from people. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times the distractions come from people, and that's when I tell you, you got to put them in categories. You know what I'm saying? We always go back to, but like, my whole philosophy with stuff is just like, yo, like, you gotta eliminate distractions if you want to be successful. If you don't want to be successful and you want to just, make certain decisions, and you got to live with those decisions, you got to stand 10 toes down. Maybe you have a distraction that occurred that has caused you not to be able to chase your dream anymore. You know what I'm saying? It happens all the time. But at the end of the day, you made the decision. You know what I'm saying? You made the decision to go ahead with that distraction to take you away from your ultimate goal. A lot of people don't want to be real with themselves. That's why a lot of people don't like artists that, you know what I'm saying, artists like me that go against the grain. Because I keep it real with y'all, man. Like, listen, my life is like, put distractions to the side. My life's pretty peaceful. Like, it's like, I do whatever I want all the like I make my own decisions. I know what decisions I'm making. I know how much time my decisions are going to take. You know what I'm saying? Like it's peaceful. But a lot of times, like, people just don't want to be real with themselves, and they want to be like, oh yeah, well, it's just excuses and excuses and excuses. It all starts with you. Nobody made you do XYZ. Nobody made you go to this place. It all starts with you. That's it. It's you versus you. You know what I'm saying? It's you versus distractions, you versus sacrifice, you versus time. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately learning to sacrifice your time so that your goals become your sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like, I'm not gonna keep y'all on here. I did a couple longer videos the last few days just because I've been just feeling like, I just feel the energy of like, just, I've always been a good speaker, and I've always been really like, you know, you get in front of class for class PowerPoint presentations and you just own the room, you know. I get on stage in front of these people. I just own the stage. Like when you just, I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. It's like when you have, you're given certain talents, right? For me, one of mine is speaking. That was one of my dad's talents. It was ability to speak, just one of many of his talents. But and educate and just be a motivator. You know what I'm saying? And I've always wanted to do it. That's the whole reason I got into coaching. But I never really, like, when it came to YouTube, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, and y'all might even think the same when you watch some of my videos. Here we go, another motivational video. Here we go. Here's another motivational video. But when you have an audience, you know what I'm saying? When you have an audience for it, then that's when it's like, okay, I know for a fact, not only do news publishing places watch my videos, right? But I know for a fact athletes from high school to college to even pro watch my content, whether it's music, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, whether it's motivational, whatever, like Walking Flame. That's what they watch. They watch the Walking Flame. You know what I'm saying? They watch the Walking Flame and Ryan. Those are the two things that they watch all the time. So like it just, again, going back to the main thing of the video, is just, guys, eliminate distractions. You know what I'm saying? Please, like, do it for me. Like, just eliminate distractions. You know what I'm saying? Like, do not allow distractions to influence your life. Do not. Like, start studying the world and understanding, like, what goes on in the world that takes you away from what you're trying to do. And then based off of that answer, that's when you act accordingly. That's when you say, okay, this might be a little bit too much of a distraction, taking me away from my goal. How am I going to act? And the answer to how you act is what separates the good from the elite. That's it. That's the answer. But look, check this out, y'all. Y'all already know, man, November 27th, Sacrifice is dropping. I got a crazy song on there. I can't even tell. I can't, like, probably shoot a video to it here in a couple weeks. God, another video, man. I love this. I love it. But yeah, man, Sacrifice, November 27th. You know, you already know, man. This Feet on Flames, hottest in the city, man. Walk going. Hold up, wait a minute. Now the flame is finished.